morning, I'm Megan McCain and this is The Coup. Introducing our new panel, Caitlin Bennett.
Public humiliation really works for me.
Daenerys from Game of Thrones.
I'm not afraid to use fire and blood to get what I want.
Tradwife.
I'm feminine and modest. My takes on the coup are the hottest.
And finally, the corpse of Margaret Thatcher.
The problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money.
Welcome to The Coup, the best new daytime talk show ever since Joy and Whoopi got mysteriously eaten by my good friend Danny's dragons.
Guilty. Nothing brings friends together like a good old-fashioned roasting session. You know, our fathers would have been great friends had they been able to meet.
We have a special guest today. Please welcome Candyland's benevolent leader and former Chicago mayoral candidate, Mayor Gumdrop.
Hey Megan, it's so great to be here, especially with the corpse of such a girl-boss politician.
A man who, beyond the age of 26, finds himself on a bus and counts himself a failure.
Oh, Margie, you absolute joker. You funny bunny. You piss-soaked corpse. You rancid dead animal. You diabolical bastard.
Anyways, Mayor Gumdrop is running for re-election as mayor of Candyland, and is it true you've been a staunch Democrat throughout your political career?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I'm not one to vote blue raspberry no matter what. That is all.
Mayor Gumdrop, did you know that in Candyland there have been over 10 million Sour Pouch fetuses slaughtered since you took office? How does it feel to commit gelatin genocide?
Well, genocide is sour, abortion is sweet. Hey, Roe v. Wade has passed in Candyland in 1973. That is all.
So you admit you hate babies. You admit that if I shot a baby in the face right here, right now, that would be a dandy time for you, Gumdrop.
No, I love babies. I dug my son out of a king cake 12 years ago, and he's still a baby. That's how much infancy rocks my socks.
Gumdrop, I see you chose to denuclearize Candyland. Don't you think this puts many lives at risk while Candyland has so many power-hungry figures such as King Candy and Lord Licorice? Has it ever occurred to you to just mercilessly crush any and everyone who so much as tries to get in your way?
Hey, those guys are my friends. No matter how many times they threaten my family.
Speaking of your family, Mayor Gumdrop, you seem to have rejected the heterosexual order by marrying, quote, a buff Oompa Loompa named Tyler. Why reject what Christ intended and engage in grotesque sexual acts with, again I quote, that orange piece of ass?
Hey, Tyler means everything to me. He might have an ass tangy as a tangerine, but he's much more than that. He's smart, sensitive, and has a brilliant military mind. Why, he was my right-hand man during the fun Depression War.
It looks like we've got a question from outside the panel. Here's the Q's junior correspondent and president of University of Washington's chapter of Turning Point USA, Neville Papperman.
Hello, Megan, and thank you for having me on The Coup. I was hoping with the rebranding it would be called The Roo. Get it? Because that socialist Whoopi is currently ruining the day in hell.
If you want something done, ask a woman. If you want something said, ask a secondary iCarly character.
Oh, good one, Miss Thatcher. Now, Mayor, TPUSA has recently released a 3-hour-long video on Facebook of you being absolutely destroyed by various conservative elites, such as the almighty Charlie Kirk. It's 3 hours of you pissing your pants and crying like the pathetic loser you are. So my question is simply this. How do you live with yourself?
Enough! I'm sick and tired of being treated this way. When I agreed to do this show, I thought it would be a bunch of centuries telling moms to love me because I'm cute. But instead, you guys are trying to corner me with all these mean questions. Saying that I hate babies, that I'm a weak leader, and that my beloved Tyler isn't the orangest piece of ass on this side of the Chocolate River. You guys are just using the guise of being girl bosses to shove down your reactionary ideas. You're saying that I don't have good ideas and that all my ideas are pie in the sky. I've seen a lot of pie in the sky. The only host that's been nice to me this entire time is Margaret Thatcher. And that's because she's a corpse.
I'm a zombie, cocksucker. My life is out of this world. You're just another Irish brain for me to slurp down.
God damn it!
How do you live with yourself?